Ready?
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yes.
Hello, and welcome back to Night Cheese Book Club.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. This isn't a second take. You are back again for your favorite podcast, Night Cheese Book Club, where these two sisters, Suzanne and Presley, are going to give you the lowdown on some good books.
Yeah.
Maybe good.
Mostly, I'd say. Mostly.
And some hot themes.
Yeah. I like it.
Today's book is going to be Jenette McCurdy's book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, with the theme of toxic parents.
Mm-hmm.
So before we even get into it, this is our heads up to you. If you're not in a place where you can talk about things like that, if you're even in any kind of place where you're like, I might be a little bit fragile about anything kind of traumatic, that book is probably not for you right now, and this episode's probably not for you right now.
Yeah, just shelve it for a little bit.
Shelve
and
it.
Then go from there.
Shelve it, baby. Come back later.
Yeah, but that's okay. Because, it's not forever.
It's not forever.
But,
And
yeah, you gotta be ready.
for those of you who do and are ready to talk about this,
Yeah, or have read
do want
said
to
book.
and are ready. Yeah, this book was huge. This was another one that sold out of what was printed, and they had to print more quickly.
Yeah, so today we are talking about I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jenette McCurdy
McCurdy.
and Toxic Parenting.
Yeah, I think there hasn't been too much, but what have you been up to since we last spoke?
Really not that much, just work stuff, and I'm in a union, so I have been...
You shouted that.
I'm in a union.
As you should.
Loud and proud. I've just been doing that kind of stuff and just complaining until things get fixed. And also cat wrangling, which is a daily thing for me because there are so many. But
yeah.
what can I do? They're adorable and I love them forever.
Even if you had one wily cat, you might do a lot of wrangling. But you've got at least 3 out of 4 are a little wily.
It's usually if one of them gets wily, the rest join right in. It is. If one of them's got the crazy eyes, I know the rest is coming. So,
They definitely do.
What have you been up to?
Same. Yeah, just lots of getting work done, cleaning. I love a house reset.
Yeah, cleaning it just feels so good and
I love listening to an audiobook or a podcast.
yeah, while you're cleaning, absolutely. And it's crazy how it declutters the mind as well.
And how much if you like what you're listening to, how much it can tie you to whatever thing you're doing.
Oh, definitely.
Where you remember it later.
Yeah, and really just create a memory. I don't know, it feels good, but especially cleaning, there's really, it's because sometimes it's a thing you have to obviously be in the mood for it, because when you're not, it is torture.
Ugh, it is so hard. I mean, we both have some rampant ADHD, and when you get the staries, the space stares.
That's literally the whole beginning of this episode just now. I didn't hear a word you were saying.
You've been here talking the whole time.
Yeah, right, but I'm on autopilot sometimes, but now I'm here.
But yeah, it's really hard sometimes to make yourself get up and do regular daily things.
Or that one minute you're cleaning, the next minute you're on the book, oh my god, on the bed reading a book. Or the next minute, you're looking at some stickers. I don't know. It all happens so
Lots
quickly.
of stuff.
Yeah.
Where you just tell yourself, I'll just sit for a moment and do this one thing.
I'll just organize this bookshelf real quick.
No. And then you have to find out about the history of New Zealand.
I can't wait, frankly.
You just don't know when inspiration will strike.
Oh well.
So, this book, it's a hot book.
It is a hot book. I think that a lot of people can relate to these things.
I think especially now. So this was published in August of 2022. So I think a lot of time has passed in which people have read it and even just maybe listened to like interviews and stuff of Jenette's.
Yeah.
And really like gotten to a place where they can understand what she's saying. Because at first, I mean, you know, good on her for picking something so sensational that really opened up a lot of discussion about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I think that people understand it a little bit more now.
No, definitely. I think, if anything, like, our generation, like the millennials and stuff, are really starting to pinpoint that generational trauma and saying no more, and, like, it can't continue like this, and that we can't keep passing it on from one generation to another. I was going to say that we don't really know anything about toxic parents because we have such a wonderful mother, and then I was like, oh wait.
Oh wait, the other half of
There
that.
is supposed to be another parent.
Oh my
I
gosh,
forgot.
and the come and go things.
Yeah. Oh,
Ugh.
but it's
Who
crazy.
hasn't been disappointed by their father or stepfather? And
Yeah.
or
At least half of us.
just so many things. I mean, everybody's got stuff going on from parents, and just, you know, no matter where it comes from, everybody's got a lot of stuff to deal with. I will say before we get into the synopsis, when this came out, we were having like a COVID resurgence, and I was working so much. I was exhausted, and my one coworker, bless her, she's fabulous, Katie always knows the hot gossip. She always knows it. She knows every celebrity gossip. She's such a fun person to talk to. She's hilarious. She has a great laugh and beautiful hair.
Especially when it's good celebrity gossip and not like the
good.
stupid kind. Like,
She like knows what happens on TikTok and stuff. So she is so fun to work with and really like helped get through that time. And yeah, we both like read this at the same time. So it was fun to like compare and then be like, whoa. Ooh,
yeah,
what a doozy.
I just remember when it came out, especially because the reboot. So, Jenette McCurdy's obviously from iCarly and Sam and Cat, but she's more known for iCarly, I think. I loved iCarly growing up. Like, I loved that show. I've seen them all. I thought it was really funny. She literally was, like, probably my favorite character on that show. I just really enjoyed her acting and stuff. And then I remember when she wasn't going to be a part of the reboot and stuff, and she started, you know, speaking out about things, I was like, oh dang, like, it's crazy that you can see these things and not realize what's going on behind the scenes, and that, like, I don't know, but it just made her so much more of a real person, and, like, so much more relatable, oddly enough, and, like, just to see how different from the character she even was, or what kind of trouble she was going through. But this book, so you're ready for the synopsis, or?
Yeah, I mean, well, I was just going to say that I can remember you watching this show, but that was a little bit before or after my time, rather.
Yeah, like it wasn't
so I
like
didn't
for your age.
I didn't know who she was or anything, and just because the book was instantly like such a big hit, that is how I came to find it, and that that's, you know,
I guess it came back around because when she said she wasn't doing the iCarly reboot, everybody was like, well, why? And, you know, then it was like, oh, okay. So yeah, this book, it doesn't really have a synopsis, but it's just obviously her talking about her growing up with a mother that was toxic, and like how she kind of got pushed into child acting and got like abused by someone who, you know, is not supposed to do that, and who she trusted, and that like it literally took her years and years to actually even realize that these things were happening to her and that they were wrong.
definitely. I don't think that she had this ghostwritten. I think that she actually wrote it.
I think she wrote it, yeah.
And I think that it definitely is written in such a way that she kind of like takes you along with her, where she doesn't spell everything out for you, which is really appreciated as a reader.
Yeah.
And really like packs a punch when she does. It's like when she starts to make her realization, it's like you're really there feeling it with her.
And just even the things she talks about, like, they're kind of not sugar-coated. So again, if you're like
Not
sensitive to things,
sugar-coated.
that's not sugar-coated, and she kind of just says things, and like It's kind of the voice of someone who you can tell she's still dealing with things. I mean, I guess, do you ever really get over some of this stuff? But
I don't know. I really like
I
the.
don't think so.
I think that it depends what it is, and it depends where you're at, and
Yeah.
it depends just
Yeah.
situationally. Like, it's always going to be there, and it's always going to be something that you think about. I mean, namely, there's a lot of that, like, familial trauma sort of stuff. And another, like, huge portion of it is, like, talking about eating disorders.
Yeah.
So especially that is a huge trigger in this book if you're sensitive to that.
But it's like good to talk about it because I feel like,
It is really good to talk
it's
about.
one of those topics people did not talk about for such a long time, and she talks about it in such a, if you have an eating disorder, in such a relatable way.
Yeah, it's just very candid.
Yeah, where you
I
know
think-
exactly what she's talking about.
I think that she maybe didn't touch on it so much in the book, but in reading interviews and stuff afterwards, she's talked about how she does feel like fully recovered from her eating disorder.
Yeah, like
Which I think is like a really powerful thing,
Yeah.
because I think that for that specifically, it's such a like overwhelming thing that like is such a pervasive part of everyday life that like you have to eat every day, probably. And it's like if you have problems with food, which I mean truly, I know they're like, oh, like, like 1 out of 3 women or 1 out of 2. Whatever statistics they're giving is not accurate, because especially just, I can't say for other places, but like as American women, I would say it's maybe like less than 2% of the population if somebody doesn't have issues about food.
Yeah, like literally, I don't think I know a person that doesn't have food issues. And
Yeah.
it's not even just women, it's like everybody.
Everybody.
And it's scary how much, like, even now it is not normalized, and that, like, that's what I really liked about this book, even just like hearing someone talk about it, because like I feel like it's still not talked about, and like how do you, I guess you don't really like get over it. Like it's sort of like any other addiction where like it will always be a problem in your mind, where it's always like you have to be careful about this, and like
But that is exactly what I'm saying, that like in interviews afterwards, she said that like she's gotten to a place, because she thought that too. She thought you're always going to have that food noise in your head. You're always going to have these ideas. She said that's literally totally gone.
wow, that's
And I think that really like you can get to a place like that. And that she said that
I would
she's at a
hope so.
place where she likes healthy food and she also likes junk food.
right, which is good. Like, well, how they talk about neutralizing food, really, which is
Literally
I love that term.
not having these like emotional connotations to food, that it just is.
Yeah, that food is good or bad, because like, my God, how much have we heard that growing up, where like you're like, I can't eat this, I'm being bad, and like that, I'm glad that noise has stopped for her, because I still hear it. It's crazy, like the stuff that you just hear growing up, that like when are you able to just exist? When are you able to just be a person that like, I don't have to hate my body to live, and like it just sucks.
Yeah, and that you can't just, make choices without having all of these like cultural implications
Yeah, or like
based on what you put on your plate. Like that's crazy.
yeah, or just to feel, I don't know, ashamed or
Yeah, to spend so much time hating yourself. Like it's so
or
hard
thinking about it.
to get out of that place. And like for anyone listening who is dealing with that, like like I've done a ton of therapy for like eating disorder stuff and therapy beyond that too, and I can say that just working on it personally also, it still is like a constant work in progress for me.
Yeah.
But I have gotten to such a better place with food and with like my like self-worth, and just just dealing with like a lot of relationship traumas and things like that. Like putting the work in does pay off eventually, because we're all at different stages of healing, but you can get to a better place where you can recognize triggers for what they are and like not let them in.
Yeah, but it's definitely hard. getting there or realizing things, and
yeah, not everybody's there.
And it just takes as long as it takes.
Yeah. And that it is, I mean, it's a lot of work.
It definitely, yeah. Because, like, I just think back and, like, even I'll be watching, like, old episodes of shows and stuff, and, like, they just say the craziest things about women's bodies and stuff. Like, do not watch America's Next Top Model Season 1. Oh, my God.
It's ridiculous. Even, like, Gilmore Girls is a comfort
hate-
watch.
Yeah, like, I
So
love
many
that
of the
show.
things that they say are just like, you could not say that now.
Yeah.
And just like,
It did not age well in some
Well,
spaces.
and even, I know that we laugh a lot about the TikToks and everything about almond moms. Like, the things that are just so pervasive in people's minds anyway, that, like, it's in there. It got in there, and I'm glad that we're at a place now where, especially for media, they're more sensitive about it sometimes.
Yeah.
But so many people truly, like, it is very ingrained in them to the point that they don't even realize how, like, negative it puts a spin on things, that, like, the way that they feel about themselves, or just, like, you know, making jokes about people's bodies or food.
Or just comments in general. Like, just, it's crazy that, like, once it's pointed out of, like, that we just shouldn't make comments about other people's bodies, that, like, you just hear the comments and you're like, why? That's so unnecessary. Like, we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it at all. If you have a comment about someone else's body, your opinion, keep it to yourself. Like, unless that person either, like, asks you, or, like, you know that, like, and actually, I don't even know. Unless somebody asks you, I wouldn't even do it, because personally, I've also stopped doing that, because I've made it a conscious effort to not comment on anybody's appearance.
Yeah. Well, and just, I mean, you know, there's one thing about saying, like, oh, I like the way that you're wearing your hair today.
Yeah, or, like, that's a nice outfit or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's another one just to be like, oh, you're looking...
The times that people say, oh, you're looking thin,
Yeah.
and, like, how much that can just, like, derail you from wherever you're at in any kind of journey, or just, like, give you an overly inflated good day or overly bad day.
It's crazy. So just, you know, I've personally tried to make more of a conscious effort not to do that, because it's true. You don't know where somebody's at in their thing.
And we can all just be people.
Yeah, exactly. You can just exist.
And you can just exist.
It's
This isn't you as somebody's doctor having a conversation with them. Like, you can just, like, tell your friend that they seem happy.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, it seems like you lost some weight.
Are you healthier?
Mm-hmm.
Not mentally.
Well, whoever is. I am.
Yeah, me too.
Not to
very
brag.
mentally
Yeah.
healthy. What?
I mean, it sucks, and it is a privileged thing that I've been able to, like, get mental health stuff from, like,
Yeah.
you know, insurance, and, like, even not having a lot of money, I still would put money towards that.
Yeah, because but it's crazy.
That's gonna be with you wherever you go.
What I did also like about this book, where she, with the generational trauma thing we were talking about, how she also includes her grandmother in this book, and you can see how it trickled down, and, like, how, you know, instead of like vilifying her mother, where, like, she realizes that it is abuse, she was abused, her mother did horrible things to her, but then can also see that horrible things happened to her mother, like, and that, like, this stuff comes from way back, and, like,
Yeah, that it
really
truly was
where
a cycle, and that she was, you know, at a place where she became strong enough to break it.
yeah, and just realize it for what it was, where, like, the extreme calorie restriction wasn't, like, and the fact that, like, her and her mom shared in that, and that, like, it was a way for her mom to bond with her, like, that's just, it's crazy that, like, once you stop and you're like, oh, like, dieting together isn't, like,
Well, and, like, teaching it to her.
yeah, like,
that,
that's
like,
crazy.
She might have been, you know what I mean, for all of us, it's like if somebody hadn't introduced the one thing that started that for you, but for her specifically, having her mom, like, spell out how to have an eating disorder
Yeah,
is just insane.
and, like, so sad, but, you know, it's
Really sad. I mean, it's just, I'm glad that, you know, that this will help other people too maybe realize that
yes,
that a parent's behavior isn't
yes,
right, and, like, that it's okay to say, you know, I like that she even frames it as the, you know, that, like you said, she's not vilifying her mother, but at the same time she is saying, like, this wasn't right, and this really, like, affected me in a really bad way.
Not condoning what she did, and even just, like I said, just her talking about these things is going to be helpful for another person just to hear it. Because, like, it's way more common than they say.
Definitely.
So, I just, you know, it's a good book for that, especially, like, for, you know, growing.
Yeah, and even if it's, you know, don't think that I think that that's a huge thing to take away, is that you have these ideas of what you think abuse is in this, like, Hollywood version where somebody's got a black eye and somebody fell down the stairs. And it is so much more insidious than that. It's so much more of this, like, you know, this gray area where you don't even realize that it's happening a lot of the time until it's, like, 10 steps too far, where you're, like,
years later, years and years, where you realize I lost years of my life to this abuse.
Yeah. It's just, you know, it's hard to even identify, especially when you're young, because you don't know any better.
Yeah, and it just kind of becomes a part of you, and that's sad too.
Yeah, definitely. And just like you said earlier also, it's like your parent is supposed to be the person who's, like, raising and guiding you. So that in itself is, like, that's your experience. Your parental figure is your experience of the world, and they're the person who's, like, teaching you how to be. And if they don't have good mental health, there's no way that it's not going to affect you.
Yeah, and just trust issues galore. And, like, not gonna say, I would say one of the bigger twists in the book, not twists, but just, like, one of the things that was just like, oh my god, later in that book, it is quite shocking, and, like, shocking that her mom was hiding something very big that it's horrible. So definitely check it out, because it's just very, like, I don't know, it's a very shocking book, but it's also touching in a way where it's like this person sharing, like, very intimate things to help other people realistically, I think.
Yeah, agreed. I think
she seems like a really cool person.
She really does. And
genuine.
It seems like she's living for herself and, like, taking back her personal power and, like, really trying to help other people work through things that, you know, that might have been similar, or just even being able to see similar themes throughout their own lives, which is awesome to do.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? ADD, man. I don't know.
Is it inappropriate to play a game?
Well, so it's not for everybody, but I know for us, dealing with our own traumas with humor is definitely helpful.
It's healing.
And, you know, so many things are, like, funny looking back on them.
Well, and especially, like, if you've gotten this far listening to our podcast, hopefully this isn't your first episode, because this one's kind of a doozy. This one's more of a serious, but you just gotta laugh.
Know that we're a little bit silly, and that, like, we're a little bit, like, morbidly dark humored.
Yeah, because, like, you know, we've all got traumas.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Alright, well, the game that we're going to play is that this is your red flag. It's more of a pink flag. I'm going to read you some traits, and you're going to raise your red flag if someone in your life has that.
Oh, no.
Alright.
Wait, well, current or past people? Stop that.
I don't know. You decide. Current or past.
Red flag? You know what? I'll just say, go ahead. Go.
They won't talk on the phone.
No. Gee, I wonder who that is.
You too, though.
Only a little bit. All
right, as millennials, we're all afraid to speak on the phone.
You will refuse to speak on the phone to the point where, like, you get manic, like a cat backed into a corner, and, like, actually my boyfriend's the same way, so, like, I guess I'm just the phone call person, which is totally fine with me because I understand, but...
What's crazy is I like talking on the phone when I get there.
I guess, but I don't. You get manic crazy because you don't want to talk on the phone. I think it's a thing. If I am gonna become the doctor here, I think it's a thing where you can't read the other person's body language, and it like upsets you because you don't know if you're making them happy or not because you're a people pleaser. Because he's the same way. If I had to break it down, because I know you guys, and that's kind of what it makes me think. For other people, I don't know. Maybe you just don't like talking on the phone. I don't know.
I also just don't like it. I think it is those things. But, I mean, in my healing journey, too, I care less. It's good.
Well, who's gonna call to make our nail appointment?
Did you call?
No.
I'm gonna need you to call right after this.
Forgot.
Yeah, you gotta call. I gotta get... Look, these ladies are grown out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yours
chipped
is
my
special.
paint from work. Okay, Nick.
How's a go-to Starbucks order?
Okay, I mean, I know somebody like that. Is it Phil, right? Yeah, her boyfriend always... Actually, mine too. Like, whenever we go places, usually he has, like... Is that a red flag? Actually, I do that too. Whenever I go places, I usually order the same thing. Actually, I have a Starbucks. Is that bad?
I thought about you when I read that.
Why? Oh, I guess I get the same thing every time. I can't help that. It's just what I like.
Says like too much.
Alright, so is this just a list about me? This feels kind of pointed. Because I do say it a lot.
Switching it up.
But I've been working on it. I wouldn't say it's a red flag. It's a orange flag, maybe, because I know I shouldn't do it, and I only do it when I'm really nervous. So I'm working on it.
Tracks your location.
That's you. Okay,
that is
fine.
Mother.
Okay, Mother a little
She's
bit.
the king of location tracking.
But she doesn't put
She
it...
is Life 360.
She doesn't put it in my face, though, that she does it. You, like, tell me that you're tracking me.
No, she
like
don't
some
do
sort
that.
of like some sort of predator.
When I say, hey, I'm about to head over to your house, she'll say, I know you left a minute ago.
Yeah, but she doesn't say it, though, like, unprompted. Like, you say
I want
it,
you to know.
That's
I'm
what I'm
watching.
saying. You say it like you're a murderer.
Because if I say it when I am watching, then you'll think that it's happening all the time.
Well, I have nothing to hide.
Your location's
No,
different.
there's something wrong with you with that. That's
You're
weird.
actually boring
Now,
to track.
Yeah, that's true. Although, tracking each other, I know plenty of groups of, like, sisters or whatever that have tracking apps on each other's phones. I think it's just a good idea for safety measure. So,
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with it, but you're a little bit crazy. Go ahead.
Doesn't know the difference between your and your.
I don't think I know anyone like that. Although,
I do either.
probably the people I work with or, like, regular people I see, but, like, anybody in my inner circle, I should hope that they know the difference.
Backseat driver.
Mother a bit, except, like, she just gets a little crazy when, like, when Suzanne was learning to drive, I was in the car, and we were on a regular road, and a bus was on the other side of the road, and she started screaming, "That bus is coming right at us!" And Suzanne's brand new at driving, and I was like,
Should I just swerve into this pole?
yeah, like, she shouted it, and I was like, stop screaming that at her. And
She gets nervous. She's somebody who's going... Okay, you probably also have a parent or somebody who will just grab the safety handles.
oh, yeah. Or just, like, you can feel them tensing up while you're driving.
And you just see her, like, reaching to really brace herself.
One time,
Why?
I was making NASCAR noises. I was going, "Rrrr," and she was like, "Slow down." And I was like,
I tricked her.
I said, "It only sounds like we're going fast. We're only doing 20." But she does, yeah. She gets nervous in the car, so.
Doesn't wash their hands.
After what?
I guess anytime.
Never?
Some of these are from the game Red Flags.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I don't think I know anybody
I was
like
hoping maybe you'd out someone.
like who.
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
I don't think I know it because, like,
I'm hoping also that everyone washes their hands.
yeah, like everyone I know, I think is.
Let me tell you, as a nurse, and taking people to the bathroom frequently, you would be shocked that how many people do not wash their hands.
For me, it depends on what I'm doing in there.
It depends. I'm telling you, they should have washed their hands.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. I hope I don't know anybody like that, but I don't know.
is overly concerned if onions are in their food.
I know a few people. I used to be that person. Let me tell you, I started eating onions about 2.
Green onions, purple onions, Vidalias.
I just love onions. I love onions, and like, I'll eat an onion like an apple right now. I love onions.
That is one part in the book Holes by Louis
Oh, yeah.
Sachar.
When they're biting into those onions after a hot day. I
Yeah,
can taste
it really
it now.
sounds delicious.
It really does.
I think it would be a mistake, but it sounds so good in the book.
I don't know. If you're hungry enough, I feel like that's all right. If anything, it's probably tasty.
I don't know.
Actually, no. Yeah, maybe. You know what?
Onions are great though. I would put them in
we-
everything.
We love you, onions.
Chocolate covered onions.
If any onion farmers want to sponsor us,
I farmed onions last year and they were good.
yeah, but I didn't mean you.
But yeah,
them.
anybody who wants to send us some onions,
Candy onions
let me know.
from the farm stand down the street. If you're listening, farm down the street, we love you and your onions.
Please give us more produce.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cries 24/7.
I wouldn't say 24/7, but you do cry a lot, but you are like a water sign. You're a very emotional person. You're a very romantic person. I feel like you have a cry in you ready to go at any moment.
Always.
If
I was
someone-
born on a Wednesday.
Yes. Wednesday's chat is full of woe.
I am.
Yes, certainly.
I just have a darkened way about myself.
I wouldn't even say that. It's just more of like, if anything, I feel like it's more of like you're very dreamlike with your head in the clouds, and when it's not that, you're immediately upset about it.
I mean, that's one of the things that I've learned is that, like, you read books and you get these, like, fanciful ideas in your head and you cannot control what life is going to be.
Although crying's
And-
good for that.
Yeah, being sad and
let it
needing
out.
to cry that it's never going to be as good as in my head.
Yeah, but let it out. You know what I mean? And that's okay.
How I do.
That's okay. It just can't be all the time. But it's good to let it out sometimes. Or I guess if someone vaguely raises their voice at you,
Please be nice to me. I'm very sensitive.
you'll find out what happens if you're
Don't
not.
honk, I'm having a crisis.
Yeah, that's, yeah, certainly.
Alright, and our final flag is prone to screaming when drunk.
What do you mean screaming?
Screaming.
Like screaming?
Screaming.
Like not yelling?
Like
mean.
shrieking.
Okay, then this
In delight.
list is pointed, because you know what? That's just me being happy, and that's what you don't like about it, and I don't care for that.
I don't know.
I'm just
It's very
having a good
shrieky.
time. I have my witch's cackle, and I can't help it. And
It's
you know-
more than a cackle. Give me back my flag.
Fine. Yeah, that is your flag. Red flag. Well, I think we should get
Well,
on to the poem now that
that
I've been
brings us-
accosted by your words.
To our, will soothe your soul poetry.
That's so true. I couldn't agree more.
Beautiful.
I feel better already.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, you go first this week.
I was gonna say this makes me feel better in my poem. This will bring everybody back down. Eating disorders, overwhelming shame and guilt, could not even see. You had to send everybody feel better.
It's true.
Now, to bring us back up, my choice of cheese was mozzarella sticks because food is neutral. Mozzarella sticks, they're a food. They're a food you can eat. No one should ever feel shame about food. We gotta neutralize it.
Oh yeah.
And man, I love mozzarella sticks. If I could live in a house made of sticks, they better have mozzarella in them.
Oh yeah. I would say that in my lifetime, I have eaten at least
I don't-
1.5 million mozzarella
I
sticks.
don't want to know that number.
And even at my lowest lows, at my highest highs, they've been there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I feel more neutral about them now.
Yeah,
I could say no if I,
you know,
they're always there. They're always going to be there. I
Uh,
hope.
yeah, maybe Dad's not there, but you know who is? Mozzarella sticks. They've been at every important moment in my
Make them
life.
into a dad-shaped body.
Yeah, I like that.
Off with your head. And that's why the marinara comes in.
Yeah, we hope you hear this.
Yeah,
The marinara is your blood.
Actually, F off. How therapeutic.
I feel better already.
I feel better already. You know what is gonna up that even more? My beautiful poem.
Go ahead.
Mine is, people often suck and mess you up really bad. Good on you to grow.
All right, yeah.
Uplifting.
I like that. That's it. I'm glad we ended on yours.
My cheese is specifically the cheese that the waiter at the Italian restaurant asks you if you want on your pasta.
Is that Parmesan?
Well, I think that it's usually Parmesan, but I guess it depends on the restaurant.
You know what? Whatever
But
they
I
have.
would say that every time, I don't want to overplay how much I want to know what's going on in your juicy book. I don't want to overplay how much I want extra cheese on my pasta.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta cool it out each time, and that, like, you know, with patience, it's gonna come to you.
But the answer's always yes.
Yeah, a lot.
Like,
I'll tell you when. Get another block.
Yeah, just leave the block.
Can I do it? They would say no, and I'm way too embarrassed to ever say I don't want to do it.
Brought your own in your purse.
I go, you just a hint, just
Yeah.
a little hint.
If you have
You
to.
decide.
And then when they say when, you pretend that you're taking a drink of water. So that, oh, I meant to say when a second ago. Oh, look at all this cheese. Well, might as well leave it.
Yep, and then you're in a coughing fit.
Right.
Then you take a phone call, and then you say when.
Perfect.
What's your grazie for the week?
I actually was going to say my grazie is for you, my sister, because I think with like eating disorder stuff and like any of those hardships that a lot of us face, it's good having another person who knows exactly what you're going through and can help you with it. And I like hope that, you know, if you need help or something like that or support, that you can find it in someone else, just because like I know how crucial our relationship has been for my own healing journey, and I'm sure yours too, and that like if I didn't have you, I don't know, I feel like you understand perfectly what I'm talking about because you're going through the same exact things.
I made a false father out of mozzarella sticks with you just now.
Yeah,
I get it, man.
And it felt good.
And I feel the same way. As humans, it's so easy to say, I don't like people. You do, though. Humans need other humans.
We're pack animals.
For mental health. Yeah, you just gotta find the right pack.
Yeah.
Of animals.
Yes.
And humans.
Especially when you don't trust anybody, it's hard to let people in, but like if you find those right people, it is just so beneficial to, you know, good mental health to have a support network.
Definitely.
And you are fine.
Mine is, I am so grateful for this, like, spike in therapy and that so many things have lost their stigma to the point that they used to be. Of course, the world is not a perfect place, and we all have more work to do, and I don't think it's ever going to get to a place where things aren't stigmatized.
And it's kind of taking that swing where, like, now that everything is new, it's kind of taking that swing to the extreme of, like, everybody trying to use therapy talk.
Ooh, or just going too far with it and
Yeah.
thinking that, like, you know, you have to... So, the great Marcus Parks from the great Last Podcast on the Left has a quote that we use all the time. I use it with patients. I use it with literally everyone. And it is that mental health is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. And
so true.
That is such a great place to go with your own behavior and actions. It's just, you know, it sucks if you are somebody who's prone to having a hard time with things, but it is not other people's responsibility to bear the burden of that. And a lot of, you know, I think you gotta swing in both ways till you find the middle, but hopefully we'll settle in the middle where people are a little bit more emotionally intelligent.
Definitely.
But not too far.
Not too far.
Because you still gotta laugh.
Yeah. So just when somebody...
And we're all working through stuff.
Yeah, when you guys figure it out, let us know.
Grace. Figure it out. Chill it out. Make a friend.
Sure.
Eat a mozzarella stick.
We'll be your friends.
Yeah. Hit us up. We're here for you.
Yeah, and we're all in this community together, so...
Yeah.
Let the books
Tell us about your cheese that you like.
and books that you like. Have a chat. Cheer yourself up.
Yeah.
Have a mozzarella stick. Smoke it like a cigarette.
Truly, Bookstagram does have like a great community. If you
It
like
certainly
books,
does.
if you like books, you will always be able to make a friend.
Yes. You know what? Yes.
Because you know what, they paint you like some little nerd where you're
Reading by
alone all the
yourself.
time, and I'm sure many of us have been there having lunch in the
Well,
bathroom.
we can do that, but then next thing you know, you're in a room of screaming girls because we've read a spicy book and
Screaming.
everybody's having a laugh.
It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, we will catch you cats next week.
Yeah. Tune in.
Yeah. Have a great week till then.
Bye.
Bye.
It's the outro music. We'll see you next week. Subscribe and like stuff. Help us, please. Love you. Bye.